What is up, everyone? How are we doing? It's the midweek market update right here. It's Emperador Maximiliano. It is Bull Trade Finder, Mr. G Knots. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic, and it's Liberation Day. So who knows what is to come? That's our the big headline, obviously, for the midweek market update is today's Liberation Day, 4 p.m. Eastern. We will have President Trump and all the tariff news, and then we'll have a whole global response, I'm sure, after that. So things will be interesting. Market has been moving today. Volatility is crazy high. Vol is up. Markets are up. Something's got to give at some point. It's going to be interesting to see. Knots, I'm going to go ahead and let you screen share, and we'll go through some stuff here. Let me throw that up, and if you are joining in the chat, say what's up to us. Let us know what you're watching. Any chart requests, thoughts, questions. Knots, I think one of the where we're at because of all the news coming this afternoon, because of the global responses to that news, and then NFP Friday morning, and then Jerome Powell. A lot of things over the next, we'll call it 72 hours, 48 hours, I guess, will be happening. So I think a lot of the charts will be if this, then this, like triggers on either side. So we'll see
Mhm.
how it works out. I don't know. Knots, any thoughts before we start jumping into some stuff here?
Well, I mean, yeah, tonight is obviously the big one. I mean, for example, I looked at looking at spreads for. I mean, even if you look at spreads, as you guys know, or if you haven't known, I'm a spreads trader as well. Um, Looking at spreads, you're looking at these premiums, and they are just high. I mean, they are inflated. Looking at tomorrow's expiration, looking at today's expiration, you could literally go $25 out and still get a good amount of premium for $25 out. I'm talking about you get a good amount of premium. It's crazy. Um, with that said, they moved it back from what 3:30 to 4 o'clock today. So we're not going to know until after market hours, and then you're going to start to see the market moving after hours, just on what is being said by Trump and the government in general. So there's a lot to be said. I'm not looking to swing anything because who knows? We could be down 3% tomorrow. We could be up 3% tomorrow. We could be flat tomorrow. We could be, who knows? But I'm just not going to take the chance. I'd rather react than try to guess and basically hope at that point.
Absolutely. Well, I do want to shout out our sponsor for the show, hashdex.com. They are creating basically an index solution for crypto. So definitely check out hashdex.com. I'll dive into that a little bit later in the show. But you can check out their tickers NCIQ and DEFI, some index solutions there for crypto. Shout out to Hashdex. We appreciate them making this stream possible. And with that, Knots, I'm going to let you jump into it a little bit. Do we want to start? What chart do you have pulled up here
I
for me,
just
sir?
have the MNQ right now.
MNQ. Yeah. So the update, I guess, for what's going on today, and then we can look at the bigger time frame a little bit. Today, Knots, what are you seeing out here? I'm seeing a big pullback overnight, and then we're taking out previous day's highs here. I mean, we're at an interesting spot, but it's been a straight trend up day all morning.
Yeah. So exactly how you said it. I mean, we have trended straight up since the open. We gapped down overnight about 1.4, 1.5%. Since then, it's been straight up. Obviously, you have your dips in between. I'm on a 2 minute right now. But you can see, I mean, even on a 2 minute, just straight up. It has been getting a little slower up here for the past hour and a half. Um, but there's possibility for more upside. Again, 4 p.m. looms. Um, we are none of us are are sure what is going to be said or what is going to happen. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt, grain of and just be able to react more. So if you're going to trade it, again, proper risk management in any markets is key. But especially tonight with the unknown, you have to be careful if you're going to be swinging or doing anything of that sort. Um, with that said, again, trend day, just waiting to see how and when the market may start to turn or react to what Trump speaks about at 4 p.m. Eastern, right at the close.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I think it should be said you don't have to trade this when the market
Yep.
is completely uncertain and has no idea what's going on. Um, I mean, we have less of an idea, right? So that you don't have to you don't have to trade this. There's a lot of information coming out over the next few days. Honestly, not my best thought, my best advice, just for trading in general. Obviously, not none of this is financial advice, but just if you are a trader and you're looking for like, okay, what should I do in these scenarios? I think waiting, looking for the kind of what I mentioned earlier, the okay, if this happens, then we go this direction. If this level happens, we go this direction. You know, big things to watch, I think would be the best thing. Find your setups and then wait and see if they trigger over the next few days. So it could be very interesting, but I definitely want to take a look and see where we're at. Knots, do you want to jump to maybe a daily chart and kind of paint the picture
Yeah,
here a little bit for the people?
100%. Hold on, give me 1 second. So looking at daily, this is NQ. Let me clean all this up for a second. Give me a second. Oops. All right, so past 3 days, it's like we double bottomed on that previous bottom around March 10 to 13. We are coming into the 9 and 21 here on MNQ. Let's pull it up on Qs because those are the fast forward contracts. I mean, same type of scenario. We had a lower low here, right into an algo trend line. Again, still coming to the 9, just $2 away, and the 21, which is just about $9.20 away. Currently bullish engulfing of the previous candle of yesterday, but again, anything could change overnight. We could get a huge gap up or a huge gap down, or again, somewhere in the flat range. So it just really all depends what is said tonight, how it's reacted to, and basically how the market goes from there.
Now, I've got that same massive like range that we're pushing into the bottom side of it right now on the daily. Took out the previous day's highs, but you don't want this to turn into a bear flag either. But there's a big volume shelf right here. You have that line drawn basically. There's a
Yeah,
volume shelf right here.
this
There
one
was
right
a
here.
lot of lows last week. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we're pushing into it. You see that little peak. If you scroll over to the side just a little bit,
Talk about this way,
I
sir.
don't know if it'll. Well, you can see it there good enough. But there's the lowest peak on that volume shelf is basically right where we're at. We're kind of pushing over it, and honestly, if we push over this, it looks like it trends back up towards what 478s, 479s. Where do you have that? Where do you have your next level there?
This volume shelf right here, the volume point of control is 480. Um, I mean, that's where I would see major confluence of a possible short or a rejection area. Because when I'm looking at this, I'm also seeing that we have a ton of openings and closings right around this area. Right under it at 479.60, let's say. I mean, you got one here, Wicks. I mean, look at all this. That's something
Yeah,
that I personally do. I focus a lot on candles where we're seeing wicks, where we're seeing openings, where we're seeing closings. If you start to see a cluster in a specific area, obviously that's going to be a support and or resistance. And kind of right where that volume point of control is, give or take a dollar. I mean, you're seeing it on both sides. So that whole 479 to 41 area is going to be a big area for me to kind of watch out for.
absolutely. There's something I noticed yesterday when I was doing some charting that I'll take a look at here in a minute with you and get your opinion on. We are about to hit the daily nine. Um, on SPY, and we're getting close on QQQ. If you look at the a 9 EMA, you see it right there. I can see it on your chart there. Yeah,
Yep.
we're basically right there on SPY, literally right
We
now.
might have just
And
tapped it actually, or maybe missed it by
yeah,
a few pennies there.
yeah, I literally have it within 25 cents or 20.
Yeah.
No, what was the high there? No, that was right on it.
Yeah. Got 563.75 is the high, and the 9 is 563.76. So yeah, we basically hit it.
So you're telling me to short NQ right now?
Very possible. I mean, we're only 30 cents away from that 9 on the daily on SPY right now, currently.
Yeah, and the 20 days right above it too. That's something I've been watching. One thing I was going to mention, if you look at a 20-day, I mean, the 50-day, the 50-day is a pretty big moving average, simple 50-day moving average. Actually, I can throw it up here real fast.
Oh,
Let
you
me
got it up?
throw out here. I'll just throw mine real fast, and we'll go back
Okay.
to your chart. Boom. All right, so here's your 50-day. Let me go back to QQQ and just show you something I've noticed. So when you see kind of these lows down here and you look, you're just over 10% away from that 50-day. That doesn't have, and anytime that happens, you tend to kind of get a shot back up towards it. I mean, look where we were at down here. Once again, just over 10% from the 50-day. And if I on the upside, it's not as dramatic, but if I go back to let's see, let's go back to August and look at this. When we had this extreme low, look 10 to 11%. And you see we started to track back up. Anytime we get that far away from it, on the downside, let's see, what was this one? I don't think this one was as dramatic. This is just something I was charting last night and I noticed. Yeah, that one wasn't as dramatic. Let me go back to, okay, here we go. Back in
By the way, speaking of SPY, we
2023.
just actually got over that 9 by a penny or two here, just ripped up 35 cents.
Here we go. Here's 2022. So this is when we kind of topped out in that 2022 bear market time. And if you look at these like big spikes bound, I mean, look how far extended they get. That got to 16% and it ripped back. Once again here, 14 to 15%, and it ripped back. Anytime it gets beyond that like 10% down from this 50-day, I've just noticed like look at that 15% in this bear market. Anytime it gets like beyond 10 to 12%, and this is from like the extreme lows. So like if I draw this, like if I go here, like before that day happened, once you get down to this like 10, 11, 12% below the 50-day, you usually get some kind of springboard back towards it. So that's just something I've noticed that I'm watching.
100%.
But sorry, I just thought that was interesting. I noticed that last night. We throw your chart back up here.
Yeah.
Um, Throw up that spy chart that we were just
Yeah,
talking
we
about real
just
fast.
rejected off of it. We
Yeah,
reached new highs by a couple pennies and then rejected. You can see a
yeah, I
strong
have that.
rejection here.
I a daily nine on spy right there. I think you possibly fade that. That's interesting. I don't know. It's tough to do much of anything today, but if you're looking for something to fade this overextended move back down, I feel like that may be your sign. On the daily, But yeah, that's what I'm seeing on SPY and QQQ. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Let's look at that chart because it's
BTC.
moved up a lot.
Load it up.
I've been watching that on the daily,
Let's check the
and
daily.
it's pushed back above the 200 day. It's pushing above.
So,
Okay, I see you've already got that trend line drawn. That's what I wanted to draw some attention to.
yep, Algo has
I've
that
been
trend
a little
line
bit
there.
bearish. I've been a little bit bearish on this. But it came down and it held like its last piece of support, like in the 82, 85 range, kind of the last place that it needed to hold. And it's pushed back up. It's breaking that downtrend line a little bit. The only hurdle is you've got the 50-day just above us, but pushing back through the 200 is interesting. Um, I know a lot of people are looking at this for a move back to the 90s. And I don't know, Knots, what are your thoughts?
Again, this is another interesting one. We're breaking above that trend line, holding above the 9 and 21, above the 200-day SMA, the light blue line here. Obviously I want to see how we close on the day here because this is the first time we're getting over it. So we could obviously close under it. But I would say so far so good. There's definitely something to watch here and see if there is continuation and obviously holding of that level. And then basically from there, you know, if they can hold this trend line and possibly even retest and support it, then we could push higher into the 90,000s and try to test, above where we've been stuck. Obviously, 100,000, big key psychological level too.
Yeah, huge, obviously. And the point of control, I believe, in the entire thing was when we set at that 96. So you wonder if we do get back over that 50-day, if we get over the 88 to 90 area, if we don't just track back up. But that is going to be a big ask. We haven't touched that 50 days since late February, basically. So that's gonna be interesting. Something that I'm watching. Not what charts are you watching right now across the board? Any setups and stuff that just are on your radar?
Let me double check that for you. So, I do want to state, I know we had GE last week. And again, thank you for bringing that up because it turned out to be
That one did
over
work out
200%,
nicely.
by the way. Um,
200%. Man,
yeah,
I should have taken
let's
that
just
with you. I was
quickly
even
dive
looking
into it
at,
really
yeah, pull
quickly.
that chart back up. Yeah, that was we spotted that live on stream. If you didn't tune in last week, we spotted this setup live on stream. Knots took the short on GE. Um,
By the way,
let's
we
see
went
what was
short this day. We actually had the perfect Wednesday was the perfect day last week. We got in on this red candle. At the time, it was actually above this green candle prior to it. So it was right at 210.
yeah, it was
Um,
breaking the 210, I think, like as we were
yep.
watching it, and that was like the trigger, right? And you nailed that
So
trade.
you had about 15. No, you nailed it. I took it. I executed. So thank you.
You executed
Um,
it.
we had $15 worth of downside in just under 4 days. The next day alone, well, actually, sorry, at close, we were up 45%. The next day alone, when we started to trim out, we were up over 100% on this day right here when we got under 205, hitting around 203. Um, and then it went all the way up to just about, it was actually more than that. I got out around the 200%. And it went way under 200 at that point. So it probably went 350, 400%. But I mean, absolute killer trade right there, playing it a month out, 205 puts, and, went over $10 in the money too, if you held it up until this Monday.
Yeah,
Just a
I'm
4 day
charting it
trade
out
was
over
all you
here.
needed there.
Yeah, and it was beautiful continuation. Obviously, the market was going in that direction as well, so that definitely helps when you have the market kind of in sync with one of your trades. Once again, if you're in the audience, throw some tickers that you want to take a look at, maybe something on your watch list. I would love to take a look at anybody in the audience if you've got any tickers that you're watching right now. And then not, I'm glad we went back to this one. And if you've got anything on your watch list, I want to go through it with you.
Yeah.
And then I'll take a look at some of the names I'm kind of watching, and then we'll just go over some of the big names in general.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, I'm not really diving into anything. I know we've talked about Walmart. Let me get to it. I know Walmart has just been holding up very well. Let's look at the weekly too. That's something I want to see in this kind of scenario. Um, So we haven't broken that recent weekly or that past weekly on March 10th close. Sorry, it's probably March 17th. Yeah, March 15th. Sorry. Um, if we get an extension over that, that could be interesting. But Walmart has been holding up in over the past couple of days. I mean, the market was falling these past few days right here, and you can see Walmart was holding its own. So that's interesting to see. Over the past 3 days, let's look. Well, over the past 3 days, actually, Q's has been holding up, and Spy has been holding up, and Walmart has been doing the same. Is there any key one that you kind of want to look at? Because in all honesty, I haven't been really diving into it that much today, only because I just haven't had the urge to swing anything, especially with the possibility of what could be said tonight and the reaction, tonight.
Yeah, so like one thing that I've been doing, not is trying to think of companies that won't really be affected by tariffs that still have decent looking charts. So like let's go to Uber. That's been one that I've been watching since December, and I do have a long position equity wise on and a small call swing on that I've had for a while. That's, it's a profitable trade, but I'm still looking at Uber, and I really like its resilience here. If you look how much the market's pulled back versus Uber, Uber really has held in very nicely. It's supported on the 200 day. And if you think about something that just, I think it got unfairly beaten up late last fall with the robo-taxi, all the what do you call it, like the Tesla news, all that stuff. But I think that was kind of unfair to Uber. I don't think Uber's going anywhere. I think it has decent upside. And if you look at this chart's super resilient. I mean, look, the market topped there late February, and you see Uber pulled back a little bit, with the general market, but it's holding in very nicely in this area. The 72 to like $70 area was nice support. The 200 days there, it's pushed above today, above every major moving average like EMA and SMA on the daily.
Hmm. And by the way, quick, I know we were just talking about this recently. Uh, Possibility for a TikTok decision as soon as today, and something you got to watch with
Yes.
that is Meta.
Yes. So, well, Amazon, so this news came out just in the last hour. Um, if we want to jump over, I like this Uber chart, by the way. I
Yeah, I do
really
like
like
it
this
too.
chart, and I don't think Uber gets touched by tariffs. Because Uber does operate internationally, but there's nothing like cross-border. There's no goods or anything there that's going to be hit by tariffs. So I think Uber is in a really good spot. That's kind of been some of my short-term like thought process right now is like, okay, what doesn't get affected by tariffs at all? Like what is kind of, I mean, obviously the general market could be still affected, but what's immune to it? What's going to have relative strength versus that? So, but Amazon, this chart is a very interesting chart. Amazon got absolutely brutalized, but these last 3 days, it looks like, and if you go back, you see that volume point of control is massive right there where all these bottom wicks are. You can actually zoom out and you can see this. It goes all the way back for a while on the daily. We set in this 187 range forever, and there's a huge point of control there that it's supporting on. I love that volume shelf. You see that, Nods?
Yep.
It's right there in the middle. I know you see it, but like anybody, is that yellow line? Is that something you drew, or is that a volume shelf or
That's volume point of control. So this
point
golden
of
yellow
control?
line is volume point of control, and you can see we supported on it. You know, over the past 3 days, we've literally opened at it the past 3 days and have pushed higher every day. And like you were stating, you know, going across, you could see there has been a lot of shares traded here, a lot of volume traded here, a lot of support and or resistance here, whether it flips, up or down. This has been an area that has been traded at for a long, long time, all the way up until April of last year.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of value built there. This looks good, honestly. And then the news that came out, Amazon reportedly is putting in a bid to buy TikTok. Can you imagine if this massive corporation um is able to expand, this is a mega corp at this point. Are they able to get um Wow. Sorry, I'm just looking at this chart. This chart looks great.
Wow.
But I got distracted there because I like zoomed out into a weekly real fast, and I really like this chart. If I was going to long a Mag 7 name, this may be the main watch for me. Like we said earlier in the show, Knots, that I think, in general, the market needs some clarity. And if things maybe aren't as bad as expected, or maybe we do, make a little bit of a lower low and track down a little bit further, but this is where I want to find names that should be, on my radar as we do get maybe a bounce in the market soon. And gosh, I really like this chart where this just came off of. But Amazon, if Amazon does buy TikTok, I mean that's kind of what's pushing this move today. I don't know if that's going to be obviously a big thing. Who knows with news, but you get some type of positive catalyst to go with a good looking chart, and at least you get a decent trade out of it. So definitely, I want to
Yeah.
keep this one on watch. Any final thoughts you have there?
No, I mean, same type of thing. It all depends on what happens today. But Amazon has the possibility to hold a strong volume shelf around this area, around that 187, where it's supported the past 3 days. And if we're able to push higher over 200 and make that support again, it has good upside there. Um, but even as a long term name, I mean, Amazon, a growing company, obviously the leader in the world. Um, this is something that I would love to nibble long term shares on red days personally. So that's kind of my thoughts on Amazon.
Yeah, and then Meta would be the other one to watch because Meta, they got some down volume. It caught right back up, but Meta, maybe you watch this. I mean, you could say it's at an interesting spot, but this could be a short candidate if
Yep.
the market goes the other way.
So now you're coming right into the volume point of control. Kind of the same thing, the opposite of what we just saw on
Right.
Amazon, where we had a lot of support and a lot of shares and volume traded. You got the volume point of control right above here, right around 590. Obviously, psychological 600 too. But this is something to watch. It is over the 200 SMA and has closed and or supported over it the past 3 days. Um, so definitely something to watch in this case. But depending on what the TikTok news is, if it actually does get reported today or tomorrow, um, that could have an effect on Meta, and it has had an effect on Meta in the past. So definitely something to watch here. Um, One thing I do want to bring up is Tesla, and I know we've talked about it today, Emp, on our other space. But Elon is stated he stated this himself, and it was stated today by Politico. If I Yes, Politico, that Elon will be stepping back from his role in May is the expectation. Um, so that will leave him obviously more time to go back to Tesla, go back to his other, you know,
You have to figure that
ventures.
he's gonna get back involved with Tesla very soon.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and now we're getting some confirmation. That seems like a very bullish catalyst, and maybe all these tensions with Tesla. Maybe it also, um, what do you say? Maybe it also like cools down all of that too, like the political tension stuff, if he's not as involved in front and center.
yeah, possibly. I mean, with that said, yeah, there's a very strong possibility. I know a lot of people are turned away from that. And you could see it in their numbers this morning. Apparently, their numbers this morning were atrocious.
Which we knew those numbers were going to be bad.
Yeah.
Everyone knew those numbers were going to be bad. They're also like the Model Y switch over, so they have a new version of it. So they're
Mhm.
in between like liquidating the previous version and getting the new version out there, production switch over, all that stuff as well. So between that and the Elon stuff, I feel like you know maybe the news it was expected, maybe not as bad as like feared type of scenario, and then with Elon coming back, that's definitely got to be a watch. Do you have any targets, levels that you're really watching here on Tesla?
So obviously, getting over the 200 SMA is going to be my first key. So that 288, psychological 300. And then I'm going to start looking for a move right here. Right here into that 327. And the reason why I choose that is you could see going into this, you could see that we broke above this, supported it right here. And in this case, that that resistance turned into support here, and we broke down and we haven't been able to get back there. So that 327, if we start to really extend here in Tesla, and obviously we know Tesla can rip 100, 200 points in weeks.
Yes.
That would be a first, key level for me. And then pushing to that secondary right around here, around 362. And again, you can see the same type of thing. Look at the resistance right here. In this case, it didn't come back to make it support really. Um, but you could see obviously this 362 just around that area, was acting as resistance. Um, in this case, you can see we come back right into that support that I talked about, and then we resisted right at that 362. So 327 and 362, if we start to get a true extension on Tesla, is the levels that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm looking at the obviously you mentioned the 200 day is going to be huge.
Yep.
288, that 288 to 290 area. If we break over that though, I see this thing taking an easy shot back to 315, 320. Um I'm trying to see what's your first, maybe 310 going to be your first resistance, but if this thing gets any type of follow through, and this is a massive engulfing candle. You see this daily candle engulfing?
Yep. Correct.
If we hold on to this now, obviously everything that we're looking at today, just to reiterate this point, it all hinges on what happens the next 48 hours, right, in the market. But if the market does catch a bid to it, let's say over the next, couple days into next week, I mean, I feel like Tesla upside is going to be a massive watch for me. And the thing is, if I see something that I like to the upside, but the market doesn't cooperate, that doesn't mean I want to short that name. That's why, like, while ago looking at Meta, if the market does the other thing, I would probably, default to a name like that for the short side. It just I want to find things that look good on the long side for if the market goes up, and if things that look good on the short side if the market goes down. That way you're prepared for both. That's the best way. But I really like the way Tesla looks here. Yeah, I just think this can really go. Is there a trend line to watch up here? Let me
Let
draw.
me see if I get one on
I'm
the
with you
algo
drawing
too.
this out.
Algo doesn't really have one.
The upper trend, if you
We're talking
drew
about
one,
like
is going
this.
to be, yeah, if you went all the way up there, it's going to be like around the 50-day moving average, around that 315, 320 area, unless it takes, a few days to get there, then obviously that's going to come down a bit. But
And also, while we're on this topic, so we talked about Tesla getting obviously backlash politically with Elon and all that stuff. You would think a benefit would be Rivian of that. Excuse my 4 million lines here. Let me just delete those real quick. But you would think
you're good.
Rivian would be a benefit of that. Um, Again, they're mostly domestic. Um, and actually, funny enough, when the auto tariffs came into play, Rivian was actually up $1 that day. Um, so
And that's an
again,
interesting point. So this kind of goes back to the thing I was saying earlier. Not where things that are not going to be affected by tariffs would be something I would be
yeah,
looking at.
and of course, still Rivian could be affected, but most of their supply chain and all that sort is coming domestically. I mean, all their factories are domestically too, so that's another big thing. So everything they do is mostly in the US. So that's going to be really good for Rivian in that case. And again, I've seen this on, for example, X. I've seen people post that they literally have traded in their Teslas or sold their Teslas and moved to Rivian. So, there is possibilities for Rivian to take advantage of, you know, the backlash that Elon has received and that Tesla's receiving. Um, and gather new customers off of that, and obviously possibly even benefit a little bit from the tariffs. I don't know if that's the best statement, to put out there. The best way to put it, I should say. But there is a
Yeah,
possibility
maybe
that
it's
they
not.
do
Maybe it's
benefit.
just immunity. Instead of being affected by, they're immune to it, so it doesn't. It's not going to affect them as much because they don't have the international deal. Are their parts mostly manufactured in the U.S.?
Yeah. Yeah, I know they have Mexico. Hold on. I will.
I know they have because, and I'm asking because I know you're a lot deeper in the research on Rivian than I am, so I lean on you for that sometimes. But
Yeah, I'm
it,
trying to see
from
if
what
I
I
could get a
recall,
percentage.
I know that they were assembled in the U.S.
Yeah, let me see if I can get a. I want to see if I can get a percentage of the products they use in the supply chain they use. Um. So again, like I said, um, everything they do, they manufacture everything in the U.S. That is one thing for sure. Yeah. So it doesn't have a big number. I mean, it doesn't have a number, I should say, but a significant portion of its supply chain is from the US. And it says small percentages of components are sourced outside of the US. And I know Mexico is one of them, and I know they said it today. There was another one that I can't think of the other country, but yeah. So again, it seems like if I wanted to put a number on it, I think I saw it before. It was somewhere in the 70% plus range that they're basically
That's
domestic in the
solid.
US.
That's solid. Well, we have one crowd submission here. Of course, anybody else has any tickers, but
Talking
the
about the
TEM.
Doge. Oh,
Well, we
TM.
got the
Okay, we'll
Doge
do
too.
that first.
Let's do TEM first, and then we can hit Doge. I don't know. We had two crowd sessions. TEM. This is the Nancy name for those that aren't aware. Um, how often does Nancy lose on trades, right? I mean, from when this got, I'm trying to remember when this got
Right
announced that
here.
she was in it.
Right
I think
here.
it was like, yeah, I think it was
35 and
that
it gapped up to
January.
42 or 43.
Yeah, so she's still green on this trade. It's pulled back. If I let me, I'm gonna draw a retrace on this just to see what it pulled back. Yeah, it pulled back to the 786 at there at 44. It held that perfectly, actually. That
It
is
actually pulled
interesting.
back to that gap up almost to the
Yeah, it
penny.
held the gap.
Yeah.
And if you look left, that's kind of like that was around the highs of that IPO range too. Look at the okay, here, I'm gonna throw my screen up here just so I got it pulled up here real fast. Take a look at this knot. So if I draw a line, this is the IPO high right there, and you see support, support, and then support turn to resistance here. And then we gapped up and look where we're holding that. That's also exactly where this fib lines up. So if coming off the low to the high, you pulled back to the 786 fib right here, and it's consolidating. Of course, market pulling back, but I mean, if you're going to be long, this is your area to be long off 44, 45.
Yep.
Otherwise, stop under here for the gap. If you're looking to short it, you would short it under 42 and try to fill this gap to 36.
Yeah. I kind
Yeah.
of fully agree with what you just said. I mean, I have nothing else to say other than that. I mean, as long as we support that top of the gap, I mean, you have a possibility for a long scenario here. And
Yeah,
overall, in
I
general,
agree.
hold on one second. Yeah,
I'll throw your screen back on here, see what your view looks like.
yeah, no, no. Well, I mean, again, I think what you said is perfect. I really don't have much else to say about it.
Yeah, it's one of those where like because it's a smaller cap, I mean it's a Nancy name, so like I guess put it on your radar a little bit, but 8 billion market cap, it's not something that I'm like super excited about trading, just for my trading style. But I mean if you're I just the Nancy is the caveat, right? Anything that she's in tends to have some type of
Yeah, some sort of pop. And by the way, to quickly go back, Spy has broken above that 9 on the daily. Um, and that's actually started to support it. So it is looking strong. Here's a smaller time frame, but you can see we're just continuing to ride up now. Same thing with
We just
NQ.
hit the 20-day, by the way,
Um,
on SPY.
on SPY,
Yeah.
I have wait, what? The 20-day SMA
No,
or
no, no.
EMA?
SMA, normal, the SMA on SPY.
I have my well, I have a 21, but that's at 568.
Here, all right, so let me hide some of these other ones just so it's not so confusing. This green one, though, right in the middle. So this green one right
Okay.
here is just SMA 20.
Mhm.
Just SMA 20, right where SPY is stopping right now. And of course, we talked about that EMA 9. That EMA 9's right here too. Literally right here.
Okay.
That's interesting. I mean, if you wanted to leave doubts and then you're at these same highs over here, I don't know. It doesn't look terrible. I mean, it definitely looks constructive, but well, you really don't want this to turn into a bear flag, though. What does this look like on a 4 hour? Oof. Uh-oh.
Yeah, something to watch. That could either break out today or break down today.
That's interesting. I'm not willing to play that, but oof. Another thing that I'm looking at is there was a halfback. This would be a golden retrace right at this Friday's open. 479, basically 480. Interesting. All right, just going through my process here. Not Dogecoin.
Yep, that's the next one that we have. Let me see.
Is that KC Trades I see?
Yeah, that guy joined in. That big dog joined in. Doge Coin.
What's up, guys?
What's
Hello.
up, Mr. KC?
Look at the Doge pop up on my screen.
So I forgot that it does that. That I was like, what kind of animation did you have built in on here, Nuts? Maybe I thought you were a
Yeah,
big Dogecoin fan. I haven't looked at this chart in I don't know
I have
how
not
long.
either.
Was it at 17 cents?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a read. Um,
I don't know, I'm terrible at charting like these types of charts.
This market is pumping right now.
so 4 hour we're sitting. Yeah, it is. 4 hour we're sitting right above a volume shelf. The daily nice reversal candle here. After 4 red days, would want to see a break over the middle here, right around that 18 cents. Let's see. I mean, honestly, nothing special. If I was personally trading it, I wouldn't. Um, yeah, I don't really see anything special trade wise. I mean, you could be bear flagging here on the weekly, which you don't want to see. And if so, you come back into 14 cents where you do have support here. Um, but that would be about it. I mean, again, this is something I wouldn't trade at the current state.
Yeah, I just don't know
I just don't see
where like
I don't see
I don't see
much
where your
confluence
catalyst,
either
yeah,
way.
where does your catalyst come from on this? If anything, the only
You're just kind of in no man's land right
yeah,
here.
the only cryptos I ever really look at, I watch Bitcoin very closely and then like Ethereum and Solana, and outside of that, I it's about all I do. Well, while we're on the topic of crypto, real fast, let's shout out our sponsor, Hashtags, of course. You go to hashtags.com. The NCIQ, this one is actually very interesting to me. But we all know that the most popular stock indexes like the S&P 500, Nasdaq Composite, but there's not one for crypto, not yet anyways. That's what Hashdex is working with the Nasdaq to create right now, and it's available through essentially NCIQ. And if we let's see, there it is right there. If you look, it's right now they have the opportunity to add or adjust this, but it's market cap weighted. So Bitcoin's 88% weighted in here, and Ethereum 11% weighted. So shout out to Hashtags. Check out the website, hashtags.com. Please read their perspective. Of course, this is just the starting point for any research purposes, but definitely a big shout out to the Hashtags crew over there. So we appreciate them for making this possible. And as KC was just saying, we are, look at this 15-minute chart today, just nothing but up. We haven't broke structure once, have we?
No, it hit the
Nope, I don't think
21
so.
EMA on SPY, which just retested where I exited this morning. It was the high at 10:30. Is actually where I exited my SPY calls, and then the 11:50 candle retested that, and now we're making a $10 move on SPY here from 555 to 565.
We're almost up 500 points on NQ today from the low. Do I short it right here on stream?
No.
I actually did just short 802.50. Is that a bad move or?
Oh, we're ripping
No, it's
through this
so
zone right here.
squeezy.
Yeah.
I have a very small. I'm looking to add. I'm not looking. That's not my full position.
This looks like a blow off if I had to. I'll take a little small short right here, honestly.
We're extended from the 2 and 5 by 50 points each
Wanna
on the 9
wait for
EMA.
this thing to like run out of steam real fast though.
I'm gonna add once I start to see a slowdown or a reversal candle. But I got 802.50 so far on a starter size.
All I know is every morning when I get SPY calls, I get an
Oh
absolute
my
beautiful
gosh.
move. And then I paper hand it, and all 4 times in a row, it has continued to go higher after I exit. So that's what I told the team this morning. I was like, I'm closing my calls right here, and I guarantee you it's still going to go higher. So, and someone just sent me a screenshot. They are up 117% on the calls I had this morning. So,
They're just supporting this move too as I watch this. Casey, what are you eating over there? A little
mm,
sandwich?
no, boy, one of your Mexican quesadillas.
Oh, quesadilla? There
I'm
you
getting a
go. That
quesadilla
looks good. I may make me
right
some
after this.
after
I'm going
this,
to get
after we finish
quesadillas.
this. Um,
Got some chicken from the Blackstone, marinated in some
oh,
chipotle adobo sauce, and then
did you hear my stomach just growl?
and then yeah, tortilla with some cheddar cheese in here, and got sour cream and a chipotle aioli dipping sauce.
We are in full on
DraftKings.
squeeze mode. I just pulled up Dell. Weren't you along this, Casey?
Yeah. So we talked about it yesterday, Dell and Shopify, and then this morning I added Snowflake and Coinbase to that. But yeah, Dell was one of
His
those.
double bottom.
Yep. Yes, sir. Weekly and daily on all those 4 charts were absolutely gorgeous. Same with DraftKings. I jumped the gun on DraftKings, and now the daily is setting up a beautiful Morningstar reversal into this gap fill to 35. So I'm in that one. I'm no longer in any other position right now.
Look at this. I just remembered that TradingView added this little highlighter feature. I like this double bottom and this move like this. This looks like like look at this. This looks like a W about to play out
What do you want,
on
Dell?
Dell. Look at this W. Looks like it's gonna play
Mm-hmm.
out. I mean, you could probably take it
I
to
sent
here.
it this morning at like I think 8:30
Oh
pre-market.
no. I didn't get to add. We just got a 40-point
Tesla.
short.
Hold on. What's going on with Tesla? I just heard heavy activity on Tesla on the squawker.
Yeah, we just got a 40-point drop really quick there. Had to be news related.
Tesla pulling back hard after that extension
Well,
this
that was
morning.
super overextended up there.
Yeah, Tesla just dropped $6. Had to be
I
news
bought
on
You know, it's
it.
crazy. We're only
TSL
up 1% today.
shares. What's up 1%?
We're QQQ. It's only up 1% today after a 500-point move.
That's insane.
Somebody just tweeted that that scoop from Politico on Tesla is garbage. That Elon is still going to be super involved. I don't know who it was that tweeted it, but I just heard that on the wire. What were a couple of those other ones, Casey? I do want to get a couple more charts in here before the top of the hour. You said Shopify?
Yeah, Shopify daily and weekly as well.
Ooh, look at that
So
200-day.
yeah, so it filled the gap right there, and zoom out a little bit more. Keep going left. Keep going right there. Okay, see that top over there? Yep.
Yeah,
Look, you see how all of that lines up, and then the
that right
W
there.
off that. Mm-hmm.
And then once again,
Yes,
I'm wondering
sir.
how many of these we see. I love this little feature right here, by the way.
Go
Have
to
you guys ever used this?
yeah.
On the crosshair little demonstration you hold
Mm-hmm.
on Mac, it's the Option key. You just and as long as you till I let go of the mouse, it holds that in.
Go
That's a
to
good look,
draft.
but
Go to
I really like this.
DraftKings.
Oh, DraftKings. I like this one a lot. All right. Wow, look at that candle first off.
Yep.
This is a beautiful. So when I look for reversals, this is the outlet that I talked about before on Spaces. I know where you it looks like
Oh, that's perfect.
it literally looks like when you have like the two sides, it looks like this right here,
Mm-hmm.
like a power outlet. I love this. Look at that right there.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna look left
So
on
I'm
this.
in calls off the $32 area balance of support. And then it's turning into, you got like the outlet or like, the field goal post, or you want to call it the morning star reversal.
Look at
All of them look good.
this
So
weekly probably fills this.
it's going to fill the gap to 35. Yeah. So the weekly is looking
That right
strong
there.
now. The daily is looking good. So that's my target. I've already closed half my position here, but I'm still looking for the move to 35. I'm in 40s for May. So, I mean, I got plenty of time if it wants to continue to run, if I do snipe this bottom for a swing. But yeah, it was another good daily, weekly setup there.
I like this. This is the field goal post if you want to call it that. I absolutely love this.
And then Snowflake
This right
and
here.
Coinbase were the next ones.
All right, 200-day on Snowflake.
Mm-hmm. That's the weekly? No,
This
that's the
is
daily,
daily.
sorry.
What's this? Let's go to weekly first. 50-week, that makes sense, right? If you do the math on weeks
You
versus
see if you
days.
look left right there, if you put a line, that level. Yeah.
Emper, are you still short?
Oh yeah, I am. I'm glad you said that.
About to try to break down here. Need to get under 787. We keep holding that 9
I
and
want
2
this thing to come back to like 755, 740 area on NQ. You'll see it.
I like
You'll see it
that.
right here. But the thing is, it's just in squeeze mode. I just don't like how every move they keep supporting this thing. I mean, one of these you feel like it's gonna just get a big. I mean, supposedly we get back to the 21 at some point, but golly, I mean, we're almost 300 points above VWAP. We're 250 points
Yeah.
above VWAP. That's insane. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if today's the day that I want to do a whole lot of trading, um, in general, but we'll keep an eye on it. It's snow. That weekly candle looks solid, KC. Daily. Look at that. I had this line drawn. No, wait, that's the line I just drew. I had a line drawn here before too, though. Maybe I took it off my chart, but look how long that support line goes back. Here,
Mm-hmm.
here, 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 rejected here, and then now this is your back test. Only thing I don't like is this gap right here, but the 200 day, I
Yep.
do. I like
I
this.
think I think it's a pop just to put in a higher low and eventually will come back down and fill that gap. But risk to reward down there for the longs looked good. That's the only reason why I was looking at it.
You said
Okay.
Coinbase. I hadn't charted this one in a while. Where did we come down to? Well, that 161, 162 area, I could probably adjust that a little bit better. What? Let's just put it right on the low. 163. Yeah, look at this. Here, right here, right there, consolidation here, and a bounce here. Other thing that I actually like, I mean, this thing is super overextended. The other thing I like about this is it has a lot of room to get into the major moving averages. The 200 day and the 50 day are up here. And if crypto does
Most
turn
of
the
all
corner
those
here,
names are very similar to that because they were all overextended to the downside and they were hitting key areas of support. If they decide to go and retest some of those moving averages, like I said, risk to reward to go long to use those as targets. In my opinion, I think it was freaking fantastic on all of those names.
Okay, they're gonna try to push it up here.
yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna get stopped out.
Do, do you know when I found all these setups? I found these setups at 5:30 this morning when I couldn't sleep because my son woke me up at 4 a.m. So I had nothing else to do.
You said you were doing it on your phone. That cracked me up.
I was laying in bed, just couldn't go to sleep. I was like, you know what? Let's just go look at some charts. And I stumbled upon all of those and I was like, these look good. And then lo and behold, what happens? Every single one of them started playing out this morning. So if I can do it half asleep at 5:30 in the morning laying on my phone, anyone can do it because I'm an idiot.
Look, this CrowdStrike chart looks interesting. You get all this right there. Hmm,
Somebody said Tesla recovered that drop.
did it? Uh, I mean, basically, stayed over previous day high. Interesting. Anything else? We are right at the top of the hour here. Anything else we want to look at?
I'm just watching this beautiful, not beautiful short. I mean, we're flagging here again. Market has been straight trend up. Again, this is why I'm really small size. I probably should have taken it and kind of scalped it, but kind of thought we would maybe see a little extension off that really quick drop, and we did not. We are still holding that 9 in the 2 minute. I don't know. Again, you know, there you don't have to trade or swing, especially going into tonight with what is going to be going on in just 3 hours now. So we'll see what the market does. You react on it, and that's how you got to trade, in my opinion, going into today's news or possible. Yeah,
This is insane.
I'm still short.
I mean, it almost feels like it's one of those you could just get short, like very small, and just give it a ton of room. And at some point, it'll come back below your entry. I don't know if I'm willing to play that game. So I see QQQ could honestly finish another dollar higher. Yeah, new high of day.
Can you imagine? In this video, ping pong balls.
That's
I
crazy.
see.
All right, I was looking at this. I may just close this short instead of taking the loss. I don't know. It just looks like they're supporting this move.
Yeah.
883 is the next spot I even have. Honestly, the best spot I have is way up here, this area. It's another 100 points higher. There's no way I'm going to hold a short for 100 points higher.
No. I have my stop 850. I'm size that small that I'll give it that 50 points. ES coming into 57.30 here. That's a decent area on ES to watch. 57.29, 57.30. You could see where there could be some resistance there. What did we just hit on it? 57.27. Breaking flag again. Pushing higher. Already got new highs on NQ.
Yeah, I just think you're probably going to finish this move. You look at this daily. You're probably gonna hit this up here, 479. 20-day moving average is at 479.33. That golden retrace 479.75.
Hey, anything's possible. If it's popsicle, it's popsicle.
All right, boys. Well, great hour. Of course, shout out to Hashtags for letting us do this stream. Midweek market update. I think next week is going to be a lot spicier. I'm excited for that one because I know this week is very interesting, I guess would be the term, because of everything that's going on with with the tariffs in the next few days. So I would say stay on your toes, be very careful. Go back there. Oh, it's just me. It's just me on the screen. um, no, not any final comments or anything from you. Hold on, let's get Casey's face on here.
Oh, I'm back. Jesus, I was trying to tell you VIX was falling off a cliff. I had to drop down and come back, but I know you guys were short. But VIX, it fell off a
Yeah.
cliff and SPY started ripping. I was trying to drop down and come back. I was like, no.
Very possibly we see that 20 today on VIX before the close.
It's looking like it. Yeah.
I wonder if it spikes right back up though. Like at the close. I just wonder what's gonna happen at the close today. It's gonna be very interesting these next few hours.
I know, it really is. I think 6 p.m. Eastern futures might be fun.
Oh
What do you
yeah.
call it? What do you call those hours? Demon hours?
Globex. Demon time
Demon
is when you
hours.
like made some you made some profit and you take another trade. That's demon
Okay.
time.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's going to be interesting.
all right, boys. Well, next Wednesday, same time, same place, we'll do the stream again. What's up, Everly? We got Everly on the stream.
Say
Everly, I
hi.
don't know if I've ever
Say hi,
got to show you my face.
Mhm.
I got a big beard.
Look.
What's up, Everly?
Who's that?
Everly, can you
That-
say hashtags?
That's Dad, but that's Imp. That's Imp. Mm-hmm. That's,
Hi, Everly. Everly, can you say
nice.
hashtags?
That's not Grandpa. I know he has a beard, but that's not Grandpa.
Grandpa. Ouch. I just got called Grandpa. Yeah, I'm still saying.
Ooh, I got
Uh,
stopped for a loss.
yeah, Spy is still absolutely ripping. I wish I still had some calls.
Oh, yeah, I got
Oh,
stopped
away
too.
from the next one.
I just got nothing to go off of here.
Yeah.
All right, boys. We're going to shut her down next Wednesday. Catch us right here, same time, same place. Obviously, we'll have a lot clearer picture, but some decent ideas. Of course, last week, dude, Casey, that GE one that we looked at last week, Knox took it for 200%.
I saw. That was freaking solid.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll look
We
for
got
one of
a
those bad
couple
boys next
ideas
week.
for
Oh, yeah.
sure. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on Spaces. And again, next week, same time, same place.